Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GPX podcast. After a long hiatus,
Mm,
we are back. As you can
better
see,
than
Christian
ever.
has painted his room blue. Better than ever. Now with less Nat.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
10
he's
seconds
on
in.
vacation.
10 seconds in, he had to get the dig in. He had to. He couldn't
It's
help himself. 10 seconds.
I'm your
good.
moderator for today,
Weird
Hassan, and with
evening.
me is the effervescent Tony and the always illuminated
I
Christian.
always try to keep it bright in here.
And
Oh,
I see you've painted your own blue in favor in celebration of Persona 3's massive leak that happened.
Yeah, actually, we
Um
painted the same color. I just wanted it to look extra glossy and shiny, just for this. Just for this.
just for this. And today was the Summer Games Fest, if I'm not mistaken. A low key, not low key, but kind of low key event.
The E3
Jeff
killer.
Keighley hosted
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I mean, you're
yeah.
not wrong. I
Can
mean,
you
it really
elaborate on that?
is.
Can you elaborate? I actually agree with you 100%. It killed E3.
I mean, I don't know.
Christian,
This
go
is
on,
what
go on.
E3
Why, how
died
is
for.
it the E3 killer? Tell.
I don't know. I think just because I don't know, like the way it's like more streamlined than E3 or what, but I don't know.
And yeah, this is what
I
we were
can't
talking
really.
about today. No, I mean, me and Hassan, I feel bad, Hassan. I'm going to be repeating pretty much like everything we talked about
That's good. That's good. As you
earlier.
should. As you should. As you should.
Um, so forgive me for that,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's just like Christian said, it's streamlined. It's gonna cost the devs less money as far as
Mhm.
as far as we know. Yeah, they don't want to spend the money on these things, and game journalists who are gonna come in and probably
Jeff
attack
Keighley
them.
gonna
And,
take over the world, man. He's gonna host gaming events all throughout the year now.
yeah,
He's
and
gonna
I,
that's
I
that's
think
good.
EA Summer Games. He's
I
gonna
think that's
have
good.
I think it was somebody was talking online. I was reading a lot of stuff on it, and they said it was way more refreshing than the Game Awards. The Game Awards seems like this labored, let's celebrate celebrities and talk about it kind of event. And this is just like straight to the games. A couple of things they did were really cool, in which they not only showed a trailer, but then the developer comes up on stage and answers some questions, not like, toss up questions either. Keeley was just asking like sincere questions, and they answered. Some really cool indie games shown, some fun to be had, because midway through that Keeley goes, and speaking of Final Fantasy, and the audience gets excited. And it was actually a DoorDash ad he had to read. And he's like,
that's
no, no, no,
amazing.
calm down, calm down.
Temper your
You know,
expectations.
yeah, yeah. So it was sincere, it was cool, and man, it aside from the midpoint lull, there was a little bit of lull for half an hour. It was just like indie after indie, and then you got Spider-Man, and boy, that should have been a peak, but it was like, and that was not aside from that, the show had like these good amounts of variety of indie
Hmm.
titles, first party stuff, and some of the bigger first party stuff got you hyped. Um,
Hmm.
and I loved it. It was a great no frills presentation, better than anything Ubisoft could have put together, better than most Sony presentations, better than most Microsoft presentations. Not as good as a Nintendo Direct. I think even the worst Nintendo Direct, the farming one, was still pretty entertaining and to the point.
There's a lot of
But
good
I liked
games in
it.
there. I mean, I can't lie, even though it was like five farming games.
Fine
Easy.
What was it like
farming
the
game.
Nintendo, like the thing Nintendo Switch
With
has games? Oh yeah, it definitely has games. Farming games, baby. Oh,
they really had to, I don't know how they had like five of them in there. And when they were editing the direct, they weren't like, no, there's a little bit too many farming games, isn't there? Like nobody thought that as they were splicing it together. But
unless
yeah,
there's probably just like, yeah, we don't have enough gameplay right now because the whole pandemic thing. So yeah, farming game.
Throw them up there. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a
Put it
fair
Farming
next
game.
to
point.
Harvestella.
So I just
Nintendo Switch
I'm
has
sorry.
farming games. Go.
But wait a minute, the Summer Games thing, it's the whole weekend, isn't it? Or is it just today?
No, it's going on
I
for a few days. Like some of
Because
the Microsoft thing was supposed to be on Sunday.
right, so that's all a
Then the
part of the
stuff like
Summer Games Festival, right?
yeah, and then
Yes,
Okay,
Capcom
perfect.
has a thing
Perfect,
June
perfect.
12th.
Okay,
this is
okay.
gonna be amazing.
It's a lot
Yeah, so it's
because
gonna be a ongoing thing.
I mean it's a lot because today was Thursday, right? In the West.
Yeah.
For here it was Friday, and I just to
Yeah.
wake up to what was announced because of the time
Mhm.
difference was absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe
It
it.
was brilliant.
It was great.
And you segued in right in. I mean, what was announced? Quite possibly some of the coolest. And we're just gonna cover a couple of things that we liked.
Mhm.
Try to
Mhm.
keep it short and sweet. And yeah, I guess we'll go right into it. I'm gonna share my desktop, and we'll start with the big one. That shocked the crap out of me. Tony, Christian, lead us in.
Well, here we go. We got Sonic Superstars, which I didn't see coming because this, everyone was hoping for a Mania 2. So to go
Yeah,
with this art style, I didn't know that was going to happen. It's very Generations in
Yeah, I was gonna say
but
the
better.
same. I like how
Animations look
they
smoother.
the backwards hands, the
Yeah, yeah.
Naruto run.
Well, yeah, they did. They changed up some of the things, right? But I like that though because you got his classic run when he's going, but when he hits top speed, he does the modern style. And this is cool too. You
yeah.
got the four playable characters, which seems like the safest bet. I know a lot of people want to see Mighty and Ray come back, but I think this right here with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, this is a safe bet for them.
Right, the core four.
The core four, right? And they'll add the other two maybe later down the road. And I mean, it's certainly interesting. It looks very, very different. I don't know if Sega's developing it in-house, which kind of scares me a little bit if they do, because Sega, I hate to say it, they tend to shoot themselves in the foot when the things are
Did they not
going
have a good
really
track
well.
record?
Uh,
I mean, again with Mania, it was developed
yeah,
by
seems
Whitehead and all those
Pagoda
guys.
West,
It
right?
was
Yeah.
fantastic. I didn't actually see who's developing this. I'm assuming it's in-house. I hope they're using the Mania engine.
And
Oh
who's
yeah,
this
seeing
guy?
Fang
The
was
This is
guy playing.
Fang.
crazy.
So he's from a Game
No,
Gear
Fang
okay.
game.
Sniper.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he has two names. He has Fang and
Yeah, Knack is the old US
Knack.
name, but I don't think anyone calls him that anymore. But
Knack
yeah,
Weasel.
that's pretty it's pretty cool. I didn't expect to see him in there, but I thought that was very it was very
I like
funny because he sneaks in when Sonic first goes through. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's looking good.
well,
I was quite surprised.
I like the different kind of like I don't even know if there might be more, but like the different abilities, like the multiple Sonics flying at the screen. I wonder like how that's gonna or like Sonic sort of took like seeming to take like a water form when he's
Yeah.
going up like
Yeah,
the waterfall.
yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder
he
if it's
turns
like
into
a
like a
weird
weird flying squid.
Mhm.
colors
The
esque thing. I wonder if they're trying to do that,
Well,
the
like with the
Splatoon vibes
abilities.
there, guys.
Uh,
well, I'm
It's kind of
wondering.
you're
That's okay.
wondering.
No, I was wondering, yeah, about that because we talked about the other gimmicks, right? Like the grinding.
Yeah,
And again, not to be Mr. Debbie Downer, but I'm having
yeah,
flashbacks to Sonic Advanced, Game Boy Advance games. And grinding
yeah,
was a little bit wonky in those games. To be fair, it was better in Generations, which was
yeah,
yeah,
released afterwards. So I'm hoping that it's handled very well. I hope there is a little bit of gameplay involved with the grinding too, because it's a cool set piece. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like to see it just as much as anyone else. But if you just kind of put in grinding scenes just to have them in there, it feels
yeah.
like it's kind of cheating a
forced.
little bit. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
I don't do anything for like 10 seconds, which is why I like grinding in the older games. So I hope there's a rhyme, there's a reason to have it in there other than to look cool. I mean, because it does look cool, but again, a little cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously
It,
optimistic is a good way to put it, man. Um, and again, it's coming out for Switch, which also kind of baffled me on how they are making this thing run. It looks like new Super Mario Brothers. You see Fang at the back behind the tree when Sonic goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
interesting. It looks really beautiful. Your biggest concern is the physics. I'm kind of on board with that because if I know at least Sonic Forces didn't feel good when I accidentally bought that as something to
Expecting
try out.
something more.
I was expecting something way different, and so if it plays better than Forces, I'm happy. Like the bar is that low for me.
Right.
But yeah, here's to it actually living up to that expectation. Four player means that I think it's going to be a little slower in pace.
Oh yeah, if you're
But I
doing
think
co-op.
Tony, you were telling me that most people think Sonic's really fast, but actually Mario games are way faster in terms
Yeah.
of hitting from point A to point B.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and this is the new one, right? This is that
Yeah,
weird
there's
scale.
the one,
Yeah.
yeah, where he's going up the waterfalls and stuff. That's interesting. How they handle the gimmicks, I'm excited to see how that will work because gimmicks are
Yeah,
such a hard thing, right, in games. Like you could either introduce them and kind of like rely on it a lot, or you can only introduce it for a couple things and it doesn't feel like it's around for too long. So I'm excited to see that how that's gonna work.
super cool, super cool.
Yeah.
Um, you want to move it right along into the next video I've lined up,
Let's do it.
and that is surprise, surprise, Ubisoft came out swinging with Prince of Persia. And I think it's called the Lost Crown.
Hmm.
I was very happy that this was not Sands of Time because that remake looks like it's in a lot of trouble, and I don't think it's gonna win any fans. Um, the prince has gone missing, and his allies go out for him. And I think they're part of the Immortals. So this is an interesting little take, because most often we remember the Immortals as the enemies in 300, and so it's like taking that route. A lot of mythical characters in there, weird
Hmm.
beasts, beautiful 2D design and gameplay. And honestly, I'm very excited because this is what they should have done in the first place. This is what Prince of Persia was
Yeah.
all about. This is what Prince of Persia should be, going back to its 2D roots, having this feels like a Metroidvania action title. Beautiful design aesthetics, just that iconic blue and white, blue sash and white pants, like that iconic look, even though it's not the Prince from those Sands of Time game, you sort of know it's yeah, this is a Prince of Persia game. Exotic, Mediterranean-ish locales. Dude, I'm very, very happy, very surprised. And this looks like something I may actually play.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Yeah, especially.
I like the style, and it's cool that bigger companies aren't afraid to go in on 2D stuff again, because I feel like for the longest time it's just okay, we gotta
3D
m-
only
right, we gotta move everything
focus.
along this and that, and it seems like only like Sega and Nintendo with Mario and Sonic were like, wow, okay, these
Yeah.
2D games do well, and I guess Ubisoft did that as well with Rayman a little bit
Hmm.
with their
Yes.
two recent games.
Rayman Origins.
But to see them
Yeah.
invest more in 2D games and to say, hey, look at like, yeah, we can do more than just these big 3D AAA titles or whatever. Because it could have been easy just to do that, not easy, but that would have kind of been a safe option, right? Hey, let's do a 3D game. Let's put a huge budget into it. Whereas I'd rather
Yeah.
they do this. They make a really solid 2D game, put a decent
Hmm.
budget into it, and it looks good. The
And
combat
actually
looks
have like a
cool.
release date. That's the nicest thing about it. It's like January 18th. It's happening. I sort of muted the trailer because they used like some licensed song.
Okay.
And I actually forgot during Sonic as well. And it was looking at the trailer, it's beautiful, but if you actually heard the song, it's terrible. Because
Hmm.
it's just like
Yeah.
it doesn't belong. Again, it's
You gotta edit
Ubisoft.
a
They can
trailer, that's
Just
why.
seems
That's the
like
problem.
it's
someone
hype.
probably do that. Put like a metal Ubisoft version
Do it.
song
You
in
have to
there.
do it. You have to.
Right?
Like metal with like you gotta do you have to go to what they do for every single Egyptian thing like in the background and everything. Just have like metal into somebody
Match it
playing
up, it'll
some
be probably
flute or
good.
whatever. Dude, yeah, it's better than what they're putting out.
Oh,
Put
but you know,
music
like,
over it from
yeah,
the Mummy
but
franchise with Brendan Fraser.
any
It'd probably
music
be
would
better.
work at this point.
Anything
But you know,
except
it's
that.
except that it's good. You know, some small things that stood out was like an Ubisoft original. So usually it has like the title to Jordan Mention's Prince of Persia, but I don't see that anywhere. So I think they paid a lot for this license, considering Sands of Time's long development. I love the logo, the font, Prince of Persia. It's different.
Mhm.
It has a style, it has an aesthetic. Immediately, this game is screaming to me like something way different than the Sands of Time remake, because it looks like it's nailed down its art style. The font's there, the colors are there, and those are the things people look for. You know, why Sands of Time, the remake trailer coming from Ubisoft India, why did it look so terrible? There was no art consistency. They were using assets and art styles, fonts from the old, having stuff in the new, and the new stuff didn't look that great. Everything about this is new. This actually looks way better, even though it's a 2D game. I
So
Sometimes
you
want
it's
think it's
better
3D,
to
like
but
do
trying to
that.
reinvent it that you
Well,
think? You think they're probably gonna do more
definitely.
2D if this does
I
well?
hope so. I hope so. If this succeeds, I think that's the route to go, man.
sure. I mean, you got to start
And
fresh
2D
sometimes,
Ubisoft
right?
games. Yeah, you have to. Like, honestly, Rayman Legends, the 2D ones,
Mm.
fantastic games. Not as good as Donkey Kong, but I'm biased. It has a very Metroid Dread moment in it that really kind of, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's kind of bizarre and strange. It's when this creature comes out and he attacks. And you know, I'm not saying like all creatures are like that, but like it's like he uses his tail or something, and it just reminded me of the first boss of Metroid Dread. Um, this guy. And I was just like, yeah, this is a very
Uh,
first Metroid Dread kind of boss too. But whatever, I'm a fan. Nothing more to add to that. I'll move it along and let you guys set this beautiful, beautiful game up. What are we
Oof.
looking at? The next one.
Here
got
we
Ed
go.
Boon coming.
Ed
Yeah,
Boon on stage.
you gotta love it.
Um, and this is the kind of thing that made the Summer Games Fest better. He came up, talked about what he liked, talked about some questions, and immediately on the background was showing you how the game works.
Mhm.
And MK1, run us through, Tony. Is it what is it?
Oh, it's definitely different. You got this cameo system here, which is really, really cool. Because like you said, the characters aren't, they can't put everyone in the game. But I like that they are included this way. Oh, and this is the coolest thing here. So they pick the characters right, and then it goes into
And
the
the
level.
transfers.
Oh, so
That's a
And they're
nice
having their
transition.
dialogue as you're like squaring off. That's so cool.
mhm. Yeah, it's so very, very, very cool. I like this a lot, and it looks great. I mean, the graphics look phenomenal. I mean, they always kind of try to push the boundaries with that sort of stuff with MK games, and it
Yeah.
looks fresh. It looks very realistic too. I mean, just like the settings and what they have there and the characters. I really like it, but I will say what we talked about earlier. I hope they continue with the style of the characters. I feel like when they cycle through some of them, especially in this what seems to be the story mode, a lot of them blend together, like they have like the same outfits on and like no mask or something. Give me a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I hope they don't go away from masks. It's like superhero movies, right? Everyone stops using
The
helmets and
iconic.
stuff.
Yeah. There's a thing that stuck out in this presentation. There are two versions, I don't know if you guys noticed, of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. There's
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
assist version, which looks like the old like tile
Classic.
pattern,
Yeah.
like yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's the redesign. So I think there's gonna be something to do with a bit of a timeline thing. These
No,
characters
yeah.
popping in and up. They had Stryker show up from Mortal Kombat 3. So it's Goro's in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm.
extremely bloody. Uh, but yeah, this is the stuff you were talking about. Like you didn't know if it was Kung Lao until you saw that blade thing fall through. And it's just like, because we're not used to it. We're not used to the new design, right? Having them just like as a normal dude, it's gonna confuse a lot of people.
Because the
Whereas like you need that.
trademarks,
Yeah, you need them. People aren't
Kung Lao,
familiar.
you think of the hat and
Right?
What was interesting that you said
And
though
then of
about
course,
the cameos, right? Because I did notice that too. Like, what is it, Kane and all them? They have their old outfits. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Like this is supposed
Apparently
to
this
I
be
don't
is
know.
Johnny.
Kenshin.
Yeah, see, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's cool. I like the idea of it, but at first I was
Yeah.
like, who's that?
Yeah. Because
yeah. I get
apparently Jean-Claude Van Damme is supposed to be there's a skin for him for being Johnny Cage. Yeah, there is. He's gonna be in there, and DLC characters confirmed Peacemaker and Homelander. Peacemaker from the
yeah.
DC and Homelander from the
Oh,
Boys. I know
oh,
that's so crazy.
oh.
So Ed Boon's
I'd have to
not
get
leaving like
Anthony
anything
Starr
for
in it.
surprise,
I am
Oh,
better.
that's gonna be
right?
good
So
though. Oh my gosh, I
Dude,
can't wait for
Liu
that.
Kang looks sick in this. Like I know he's supposed to be like usually the basic one, but man,
I know they really
yeah,
outdid him. I think he looks fantastic. I mean, you got young Earth Raiden here, which is pretty
yeah.
cool.
Who's got taken up Liu Kang's role from the old games?
yeah, because Liu Kang, or yeah, because spoilers, like Raiden gave Liu Kang his god abilities, so
Yeah.
it's like
And then Melina's suffering from some kind of disease. That loading, man, I know that's the
It's
loading screen. It's so cool. I love it so
and
much.
then it's the battle thing, just
that is
smooth.
one of the
Um,
coolest things. I love it. MK's always had good character select screens, like music, things like that. So
yeah.
even Goro looks awesome.
Uh,
Really, really cool.
and again, you saw a different type of Kung Lao back there in the
Yep.
background just coming in. Striker from Mortal Kombat 3
Dude,
looking
oh my
exactly like
gosh,
he did. Um,
legendary.
and of course, it's good. This trailer wasn't as brutal, but the brutality is on another
Yeah,
level.
and the actual
Um,
gameplay trailer, it is nuts.
Shang
Uh,
Tsung.
yeah,
why is he
I
always
don't I don't want to
DLC,
go
by the
into
way?
that just in case.
Why
Hmm?
why is Shang Tsung always DLC?
Hey, there's DLC in the last game too, I think.
What the heck's going on?
Yeah.
And he was
I,
the from the movie, which
I
was cool.
know. Where's
Your
where's
soul
the
is mine.
yeah, where's the movie Shang Tsung? No, I mean he's
I don't
younger,
know,
so it makes
man.
sense.
There's just gotta be something to it. And maybe it's just to get hyped, right? Because like a lot of game studios now want the pre-orders. They want it's like an early financial report for them to say that okay, we have this much pre-orders, it's guaranteed. Just like how you favorite something on Steam, it's very, very important. So why would you pre-order if there's no incentive? I think the next tactic is like, oh, pre-order now and get Shang Tsung. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah,
right.
because I know people like him, and so they're gonna yeah,
They're gonna
it's a good
definitely.
point.
Man.
I think this is brutal, but I mean it's looking fun. I mean I don't know if I'm gonna be
Yeah,
able to
it's
play
looking
after getting used to Street Fighter.
right. I'm really, really, really looking forward to this. Um, for the story, for the
Yeah,
story, because
it,
I'm not much in. I don't like fighting in MK games, but that's not to say it's not enjoyable. I do love the Injustice games a lot. And Mortal
Mhm.
Kombat is a fighting game and it's a great game, but just I prefer Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear to that. But the story is it blows any one of those games out of the water.
yeah. I think so
Yeah,
too. Just in terms of
Interesting.
single player content, it's always good because they get it. And I mean, I wish everyone just followed the MK model, where you just
yeah,
load your game up with single player stuff. People like
yeah.
it. They do.
People love it, man. And again, we just missed it. We saw the classic Sonya come in with her green outfit. I'm very hyped for this, man. Very, very hyped for this.
Same. I think it's good. And hey, I'm loving Street Fighter 6, don't get me wrong. But it
Yeah.
would be cool to see something like this in Street Fighter too. I know they're doing the world, whatever, what's it called again? Like the world,
Tour?
yeah, the world tour mode and everything. And that's great. But at the same time, I'd be curious to see how it would be handled, or like Tekken to do like a story kind of like this. Because I feel like nobody
Proper,
nobody
yeah.
tries it.
And you know, in Mortal Kombat, like they're okay with the finality of the results. If you played 9, 10, 11, there's some
Hmm.
characters that get killed off. Even in Injustice 1 to 2, there's some characters that don't make this cut on the second one because they're actually killed off. I think a lot of these other fighting game developers are very afraid because they're not sure which one of their characters they love the most. Or who fans love. DOA
And you
certainly got into a lot of trouble for cutting out some other vixens from their lineup.
and you can't put everyone in, unfortunately.
True.
With
There's
True.
Mortal
It's
at
not
Kombat,
least
Smash
not in the
Brothers
I think
base
they're
Ultimate.
the
game.
only
Well,
ones that
not
can.
in the base game at least. They did do Armageddon, so
Yeah, Armageddon
Yeah,
was nuts, man.
that was.
it was a crazy thing.
They'll
Like
never do
every
that
single
again.
character that has ever appeared in a Mortal Kombat, even in the background.
So beautiful. We'll move right along briskly then to another game that I think caught our attention. Not so much to say about this one, but it was Alan Wake 2. And what specifically Remedy went out of the way to say is like this is their attempt at survival horror. And from the footage that you see in the gameplay trailer, it is very RE2 remake. Very RE2 remake.
Yeah,
Which
that's what I
is
was actually
looking really
thinking.
good, right?
Is this how the first
Uh,
game is? I actually haven't played
you
the
know,
first one. I've
the
only
first
seen
the
this.
first game I've seen streams of it. I'll be honest, I haven't played it either. But it wasn't a survival horror. It was more like any encounter before like a big boss or something. You had enough ammunition. You were never running out.
Mm,
The flashlight and shooting, it would slow stuff down. It was very cinematic, but it wasn't survival horror. This
like
certainly takes things to a new level. Have you
But
guys played
yeah.
Control?
no, I've heard
No, I
about it,
haven't. I
but
want to try it out.
Control has the vibe down. It's not scary, but it has this mysterious, confusing vibe, and they've injected that into this game.
Mm, I have to expect
okay.
I mean,
Mr. X to pop through.
yeah, no, there's definitely some
Oh,
Oh,
weird, wonky
Mania.
physics.
there he
Mania,
is.
Even like
Okay.
what?
it's
Oh, there he is.
so
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
and you have to shoot him with the flashlight
Oh.
Oh,
and
Yeah,
special
people just
bullets. Again, that RE2
man.
remake dodge.
RE2, but
Oh,
with
that's
smart
interesting.
enemies.
The side shot, though.
Yeah,
That's
right.
interesting.
Oh, jeez.
And they do something I wish, well, I guess Resident Evil can't do because RE is more grounded.
Hmm.
Not to say like I'm not saying realistic, I'm saying grounded, where you'll see here like some of this ethereal manipulation of the environment stuff. They can't really do that kind of stuff.
No, they
Um,
can't. Because you're right. It's technically every RE game is grounded in universe science.
right, right, right.
All of them.
Like,
7, 8, 4. So, oh.
yeah, it's not like you're gonna be like stunning people with flashlights in Resident Evil.
Right. I really was blown away because like
I'm glad you're on this case with me, Anderson.
Remedy knows how to write
Killer
stories.
left a message.
Is that Max Payne? No,
We were all
That
I
is
know, I
Maxine.
know.
That's Sam
No,
Lake.
I know Sam. Like, yeah.
The horror story wanted us dead.
That's pretty cool.
There's something I'm forgetting.
I didn't even know that was
It-
him. I didn't know that was the
Something
Max Payne
important.
actor.
Something's not right.
The Max Payne actor is the director of the studio.
Yeah, he's like
He
one of
put
the top
himself in
guys, I
there.
think, which is funny. There he is in the recommendations.
Looks like someone's got to resign
Right?
from GPX. They weren't. They didn't do their homework.
I didn't know that. I only found out during Control, when I think we saw in Control he came out and he talked about how he wrote this story
Yeah,
and
I
why
think
he
I
was so
saw that video
excited.
too.
I
Yeah.
was like, that's like,
Now it's time.
there you
to
go. I'll
change.
just for.
Looking dapper as always.
This
And
is-
he's a
oh, there he
classy
is.
funny
Yeah,
guy.
there he is.
Excited because
Right?
when you announced,
Yeah.
Alan Wake at the game,
His
Alan Wake at the Game
stance.
Awards, you said 2023.
It's powerful.
And man, he dresses well. He's a classy. He hasn't aged. Is he a vampire, man? He looks the same as he did 30
Man, he
years
has
ago.
joined Keanu Reeves and Paul Rudd and never aging.
Seriously.
Right?
He does look the same. It's actually freaky. He looks younger.
Yeah.
Survival horror game. We have
Right.
playable characters.
That is cool.
It's so funny to hear that voice come out of him, especially when you're used to like Max being like, "All right, it's time to get vengeance."
Right? And the cool thing about it is, Alan Wake 2, you don't have to play. You can play with a new character more. There's certain moments where you're going to be asked to go back and forth, but I think within this interview, they confirmed that if you want to, you could play with a new character most of the game, which is a very different situation because in RE2 Remake, you had to play one or the other during the campaign. Here, you have the option of flipping.
Yeah, that's an interesting design choice. But I mean, hey, more options for when you play, right? So if you play through it again, you can mix it
Yeah.
up, do different things.
And we're fans of like survival horror, going through RE2, 3, 4 remakes. Even what was it? Here it's called Psycho Break. But Evil Within 1 and
Yeah.
2, those are another set of great games. Possibly
Underrated.
we'll be streaming those in the future. And we'll move right along to the biggest lull of the show. I don't know, man.
I mean, the
I was
box
really
art looks pretty cool, but I mean,
they showed the box art, which is cool, and I'm like, oh man, new gameplay footage. And
they already
Kyle
showed this
Bossman,
mostly.
who I was laughing at, he made a comment about something. He's like, dude, they showed like GamePro covers. So like, weirdly positioned concept art that looks like you could put like title of GamePro and stuff on.
It
It
does look
doesn't
like
even
that.
look like right.
I
And
mean,
then
they're
I
cool
think they showed
shots, but
an
it's just
this is the
that
one. He's like,
shots.
on the left you have GamePro
Oh,
written
that is right there.
or
Yeah,
something.
GamePro.
Right?
Totally. I
And
could see
so
that.
it's just
Exclusive the Spider-Man interview or something like that.
exclusive. And again, these aren't like screenshots, these are concept arts. Finalized concept arts. And then they
Right.
announced sort of the date. And even for like 3 minutes, this is a bit too much for me.
This
Where
is
they like
what
go
they
out of their
showed
way.
before.
Yeah.
Again,
And
very strange,
literally this is how
right?
you announce a date. Yeah.
I mean, because this is what they showed. Like, I get it. It's cool that they're announcing.
At the state of play or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
October 20th.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I mean, it's
October
really cool.
20th.
And again, I guess the whole thing with it was supposed to be the interview with the guy, which is fine. And I like that they're going with this format for the
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
But I mean, a little bit something. I get it. They had to make
Gotta
state of
give us
play
something.
interesting, but come on, if you're gonna go out of your way to come here, save a few scenes that you didn't show at state of play, put them on
I had a
here, make it
theory.
worth it.
Yeah. My theory is they were going to show Wolverine. And at the last minute, Sony said, pull that back. Not
Can't
until
do
you're going to
that.
release
Ah.
Spider-Man.
You think
It
so?
feels very odd that they decided to just show this. It feels like very last minute. Because they didn't
Ah.
even come with like new gameplay. They didn't show old gameplay. My theory is like Wolverine was gonna get revealed. And Sony's like, no, we're not gonna allow that.
Yeah, it's still supposed to happen. So
It's
I wonder
certainly
if they're
plausible.
gonna
Right.
ride this
But
wave.
again, that's an unfounded theory. I'm usually wrong, but here we are. We'll move right along. I'm gonna save you guys' reaction for last. I'm gonna go with mine first because we should end on the biggest note of the whole thing. And then for me, this was too much. This is phenomenal. Final Fantasy VII remake rebirth, or it's just called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Opens with like what looks like your party dead, being pulled into like Shinra helicopters, and then all of a sudden it looks like another timeline. Um, there are very, very clear theories, but two out of three of us right now have not finished remake, so I want to
It's
save them. Um, the game is
I
exploring
won't say
multiple
who.
timelines.
I
I won't
won't
say
say
who. I won't say
I
who.
won't say
I
who,
won't
but
say
two
who.
of these people in here, you can guess.
Yeah. Well, no, I only say this because this is extremely spoiler ridden. If you finished remake, you immediately get a
Yeah.
confirmation of what's happening, at least part of the stuff that's happening. And you know, you go outside of Midgard, and you're supposed to be overwhelmed with this massive world. Um, and you meet characters that tell you everything. The dialogue is very teasy. There's a lot of stuff in there that makes you question people the people are wondering if that's Vincent or not. Um it's on another level. And it's just beautiful.
It looks phenomenal,
It's
honestly. The
right.
graphics, the world.
It's just I'm
What
just so
happened in
happy.
5 years? Oh, interesting.
Uh new bosses.
Is that
And
a
again,
Talus? No, I'm kidding.
close to it. Um
What were you saying about that earlier? You said the team battles is new, right?
Yeah, there's team text now, sort of similar to uh, Chrono Trigger, and that wasn't there before. So that's a very cool addition. So you're gonna look at a lot of double sort of text being used for team play. Almost everybody has like a dual attack, which is again, this is where the game's headed. It's action RPG, and it's beautiful to look at and play. Like you're not just selecting sub menu items, you're actually playing through with this. And then Sephiroth just hinting at calling one of your party members a monster. She can read time, she can read your inner thoughts and either become an asset or like a villain. And I've killed her, and we don't know who he's talking about. It's
I think
taking
we can
everything.
guess, though, right?
We can guess, but apparently they say it's not gonna play out the same.
Well, I'm
It
glad.
makes-
If
I'm
it-
glad.
Right.
Um,
Oh, dude, I can't tell you how like I'm getting chills for this game. And
I
early
mean,
2024 on
are you
2
more hyped for
discs.
this than Ever Crisis on the iOS and Android?
Yeah, way more. Dude, and any
Christ.
mobile game, I'm not even gonna cover that game. We're not gonna dignify that with an answer, right?
Well, what we talked about interest, or what we
Kudos
talked about
is
earlier
mostly.
was interesting. Yeah, one that this is on two PS5 discs. How big are they again?
I think they're
So
like each of them
it's
should
definitely
be
got to be big. Jeez.
56 plus gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Jeez, two
I'm
discs.
just guessing off the top of my head. I'm guessing
And
they're dual layered.
right, so there could even be 100 gigs on the disc. Who knows?
Dude,
That's
this is on another level.
that's crazy. And I mean, however, the thing I did want to bring up was what we talked about. Because we're seeing posters for Final Fantasy 16 everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
this
That
is
comes
this
out this
taken
month.
right? But is this them like leading in with this, like having it early 2024? Do you think that's like stealing some of the thunder away from 16?
I think so. I think a little bit it will. I definitely think so. What's bothering me is they could have solidified 16's stranglehold by saying exclusive opener or movie or something on the disc. They could have tied them together and people would have
Mhm.
gone out to buy 16 just to see an HD recap or something. And I think this is a big missed opportunity. Because 16 pre-orders are worryingly low. However, I have faith that 16 is a fantastic game. It'll do decent, but not as amazing as maybe some people at Square want it to be.
Yeah, and I think as the next game, we're gonna talk about that too, because they're kind of handling it different as far as we know right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it feels like 16 kind of came really quickly, and it's almost like out the door now. Like I know they have to show gameplay for this,
Yeah.
just because it's done almost, but it
Imagine if
just
they said extended gameplay on the disc for 16. Just a video file.
that would have
People would
been
have
good.
rushed to see.
I think so too. Yeah, I think people would want to pick that up, or yeah, again, some way to tie it together because now it feels like we have these two stories, and 16 is starting fresh, right? Like 15, they obviously they gave up on, they got rid of all that, they canceled everything, starting
Yeah.
fresh, and it's like, let's be honest, Final Fantasy 7 is the most popular one in the public
Oh,
conscious.
absolutely. Yeah.
So to
This
put
came out
that
sold Spider-Man.
right, so
Mm.
I don't know, it seems like a weird strategy. I mean, we did just have Crisis Core Reunion come out. That apparently that underwhelmed them in terms of
Yeah.
sales, but it
Mm.
is a remaster. It's not even a remake. Maybe they don't have much
Mhm.
stock in that, but it feels like pumping out two. I'm assuming they're both AAA. Let's call it for what it is, right? They're both AAA titles,
Yes. Yes.
one after another. It feels like nowadays it's kind of risky to do, I think.
Yeah. And like you put your strongest foot forward for the time being, and the stronger foot, the game that is actually finished, the game that actually needs a bit more push and love is 16. It's great we got this trailer. As a fan, I'm very happy. However, part of me is like, just let 16 come out first. It's like putting out Metroid Dread and then doing a commercial
Announcing
for
Prime
Metroid Prime
remastered
4. Yeah,
or
Prime
the
remastered or like Metroid Prime 4 is coming
right
and like a
after.
huge trailer. And then you're like, well, why would I buy Dread if I want Prime 4 and it's coming out soon?
Right?
And the stuff I'm seeing in Prime 4 is not going to be the same in Dread.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like it's gonna kind of like undercut it because it's just like, why are you gonna release a trailer for a new game when this one hasn't even come out yet and hasn't really
Looks
got
like
a
Jeff
chance to
Keighley
breathe?
screwed another franchise.
I mean, it does. It's a really good looking trailer too.
Damn you, Doritos Pope!
That's the worst part. Like it looks amazing. They if it
Yeah.
was a teaser, it would have made sense, but this looks absolutely phenomenal. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's just why I'm like a little bit confused with this strategy. And we talked about this too, like with Nintendo. We all hate how they drip feed. Them drip feeding is really annoying. Business speaking, though, or speaking from a business perspective, it makes sense because
Yeah.
everything competes with each other. We talked about Pokemon and how, everyone wants them to put red, blue, green, and yellow on the Switch, but they still got to
Scarlet and
sell
Violet just
Scarlet and
came out
Violet,
too.
right? And those will eat at each other, not just the money, but the time, which in
Yeah.
turn turns into money because people are
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
buy the new games if, oh well, red and blue and whatever's on there, the old fans are gonna play those. No, they
Yeah.
time it accordingly. So
Agreed.
I don't know.
Makes
It's,
But
sense.
you made
looks
an
good though.
excellent segue. A studio that knows how to do this properly didn't release an official trailer. It got leaked
By themselves.
Yeah.
So
by themselves. And so we're gonna view this bad boy, and see what we think. You guys take it away because I have no comment except for I can't wait. First of all, Xbox. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
Yeah, like this was supposed to be Sunday, so it's just like, damn, this is a few days early. Unreal Engine, just I don't
Bro.
know, like this shot of I guess in Yakushima, damn.
Mhm.
Like it's just like the model, even like that first shot,
Oh,
just
this first shot of
seeing
Makoto
Persona
running through the
3.
school. Oh my god.
Like I didn't realize
Forget
how
about it.
good P3 would look with like the P5 engine, but man, it's just the redone like Awakening. Tartarus looks great.
Oh, I love that menu of him. It's just like it's got
Him
that
falling
style.
down.
Oh, it's so right, falling down. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh, so good.
I like how like it's also yeah, like they still like are like surrounding or whatever.
It feels like
Game Pass day one.
Yeah, no, dude,
Yes.
like Xbox, they're just like probably like this was probably supposed to be a big thing too. Like, hey, play it day one, guys. This
is
new
so huge, and
looking game, day one.
seriously, that's so massive. Oh god, they're rocking it. Yeah, the mall. and
They're
everything.
redone.
I love this scene. I love it. So the next option.
man.
Hold on.
I know what you mean. Shut up, man.
Dude, the character portraits too are just
They're so good. Like it doesn't feel like off model
Chris.
or anything. It feels like a complete evolution.
Kurosawa's is the same looking, but I mean, it's already perfect. So
It's
See,
so
look at
good.
even the menu
Dude, just-
design, like the blue outline on her as you're doing the command.
the moon, the
And it says
crescent,
command.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
very
like
small,
they've
but that's the theme
taken
of the
those-
game. Yep.
And the character portraits on the right being redone, like, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful.
hmm Oh, it looks so
Um,
good. It's not overly stylized like P5 because that was P5's thing.
Signature,
like the
but
way
it's
they
still,
did
oh
this.
my gosh, yeah. With the fusions, man. You can
Yeah.
tell that's his awakening and blue eyes, Orpheus. Oh my god.
And they're doing the persona summoning, which honestly I thought maybe they would change, but they've doubled down, right?
Reload, baby.
Reload.
Take that
Evokers,
gun to
baby.
your head.
We're trying to. I
I'm-
had no like I knew it wouldn't be like something like traditional like, but I didn't expect reload. Like I don't know.
Well, the visual
Funny, though.
upgrade is just phenomenal. I hate the chibi-ish look, and this just
Just looks so
kills
clean
it.
though. Running around GeckoCon. Oh my god.
It's a testament to the art style, man.
Yeah, P5's art style in that direction is very, very good. I think they really nailed it.
Right?
And this just looks like
Dude,
an
it looks
improvement
like-
on it in every
Looks
way.
like the. I don't know if it's just me and like, you're like the music, but it seems like the attacks hit so hard, like Kodo like hitting with the sword, you
Yeah.
with the bow.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like so much impact behind him. Like damn.
I like that small stuff, right? The screen shakes a little bit. Jeez, we could
Early
make an hour about this
2024 as
video.
well.
Yeah, oh my gosh. We got the game of the year and Final Fantasy's coming out. I don't know what we're
And
gonna
then
do.
it turns out this was a
Play it day one.
yeah day one. It's just like
Like I said though,
Phil
this
Spencer
is
comes out only on Xbox day one Game Pass.
dude, Phil Spencer. You gotta give it to him. This tradition. Come on.
Dude,
This is an
that's a
Xbox
beautiful
trailer.
looking cover.
Of course, they're gonna put it out after, and it's gonna have the trailer on the Atlas's YouTube with like everybody's logo. But
Yeah.
for them to give this, which should have been Xbox, to announce it and everything,
Yep.
it's huge that this traditionally PlayStation franchise
Is on
Yeah.
Xbox too.
is on Xbox day one with Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, you can play this free, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable. No delay, nothing. Day one. How much?
Just
you think they
loaded it
paid for
right
this?
up.
You think they paid a lot?
Oh, they had to, man. There's no way. There's no way you could not pay that much for this. This is a
Right.
you and I were talking about like Phil Spencer is playing a very calculated game. He's not a dumb man. And for a lot of people saying, "Oh, Microsoft's done, it's over." They can say what they want, but Phil Spencer is yeah. Make it seem like Xbox is not doing well. Because sooner or later, I'm gonna buy up Activision because you guys think it's not doing that well. And I mean, proof's in the pudding, man. They didn't go out and say, well, we have a lot of games coming or we have some crazy things coming. He was just like, it is what it is. Redfall sucked. Games aren't
We're gonna
gonna make
bounce
the diff.
back.
Yeah, but we're gonna bounce back. I disagreed with it. The games are not gonna make a difference bit because like games will make a huge difference. This is why. Like day
Yeah.
one,
hmm I
day
think it just
one, you're getting
I'd like to imagine after the trailer, Phil Spencer walks out, doesn't even say anything. He's like, Xbox.
Xbox, we're back.
we're back.
Right?
It's
Beautiful man,
you're
Phil.
right though about the games thing. I think Redfall, that was just, that was a miscalculation. I think that's just him trying to save face. He did bring
Yes.
up that he did. I don't want to say he threw him under the bus, but he said that thing, right? Like, no matter how long you delay a game, if the soul isn't if the soul isn't
Soul.
right.
No, isn't there?
I think that's what he said. I think he said if the soul or the essence isn't right, no matter how long you delay it. What he's saying is you can't polish a turd, but he said it in a very
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
way.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't have that mindset going forward. And I mean, hey, I'm not saying that they're going to buy Atlas. However, I have been a big thing of them buying Sega, but I go back and forth on this because right now they aren't the leader. They aren't the market holder, or the largest holders in the market or whatever.
Nintendo buys Sega. Okay.
But what I'm worried
Right?
about
Hey.
is them getting confident again,
Yeah,
because they might act like how they did with the 360 days.
yeah,
And that early stuff,
When they were
I
on
can't say
top, yeah.
right. And I saw their practices with, like, you have to pay for live, and that's like that's all you got was online. I like the fact
yeah.
that they have Game Pass. It's a phenomenal deal, but once they get bigger, is it going to keep staying that great price point? I don't know. That's why I'd be worried, because if they acquired Sega, it's a crazy thing. They would have Persona. Persona would be a Microsoft franchise. That is
Yes.
unbelievably
That'd be
huge.
insane.
Yeah.
Huge. Oh my gosh. Sonic,
Um,
say what you want about those games. That you got the Yakuza series and Persona. That's huge.
That'd be
and I mean, what a leaked trailer, because it's not official. It was supposed to come out, what was it, this Sunday?
I think so.
yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be at the Microsoft or Xbox showcase Sunday, yeah.
I can't do
And
Sundays.
So for it
Microsoft
to
should
leak this
be,
early,
I hate to say it, they should, maybe they wanted to do it because they had this Hail Mary waiting, and I feel bad.
yeah,
But at the same time, I hope this is like a thing for Microsoft next year. That I know we're gonna we're gonna go on the first day. We're not gonna wait our turn.
this is like
hey guys, there was an
probably the
accident.
crazy. No, it's probably the best announcement to come out. I've never seen like a proper remake trailer get leaked. And it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And
Mhm.
again, it's
Yeah.
like an Xbox exclusive. I'm pretty sure it's gonna make its way to PlayStation and to the Switch, but day
Mhm.
one on
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass. How
That's really a big thing, especially if like I don't know if they're still doing like the dollar for the first month. So if like someone signs up for Game Pass in just the right time and they start playing this, like man,
It is the best deal in
best
it,
dollar
gaming.
spent.
Honestly,
Literally for free almost.
you could pay
yeah,
double the
Playing
price and it would still be
playing
worth
this
it.
yeah.
beautiful looking game. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It just looks just great. Just seeing like the city, just like you're able to see more of it in like a way.
Oh, the camera shots too when he's coming out
Camera.
of school. Because again, if you played the originals, you're kind of looking down the entire time, and they do that to kind of trick you. But look at this right from behind.
See the main
Perfect. Oh my
entrance, just
gosh.
looking at it from behind, running
And they
Look
along.
at that map, man. Look at all the
exactly.
It
Oh,
looks great.
it's good. More people in the hallways too, because of course you play Persona 3. There's like 2 or 3 people in the hall or whatever, like generic students. I
This
can
is
see
how I'd
like at least
expect the
10,
remake to
12,
be.
13. Yeah, this is
Could probably bump
exactly.
it.
if anyone complains about this, I'll be shocked. The only thing I can see them complaining about, Christian, is what we talked about, is if they don't include the FMC route or if they don't include the answer. But just if they put that in as DLC after, I'm totally fine with it. I think given the current climate, the way games are with cost and development, it's you just I get it. It's very contentious with remakes. On your video, people were talking about Resident Evil 4 and this, that, and the other. But I think those people just don't understand business. There has to be a line between how much, how much a
You
game,
could fit in, yeah.
right, how much it's worth to put effort into it,
Like
or
putting mercenaries right away, or like the delay on that,
right,
or
and
if
the
they'll
ADA
do
stuff is
separate
definitely
ways
going to come.
eventually.
Right. So I think if the
Well, I
answer's not
mean,
in, it'll come eventually.
And
I
they know
always
that
feel,
people would buy the DLC too.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
oh yeah.
mean, like people would definitely be like, "Oh, I could play as the FMC and experience the story in a bit different way, even if it's like $5."
It's the longevity, right?
And
It's
it's
the new
still, yeah,
longevity strategy that companies do, right? You kind
keep
of throw
people
everything
coming
in there.
back.
Right. I mean, games are evergreen now, and this is definitely they're gonna do that with this game,
Yeah, it
I
makes
think.
sense because like, yeah, if you have a game, it would be like ideal, like to have everything in there. But like, if you're gonna like put a game and it has like a decent amount and then come out with DLC eventually, people could go back to it, buy the DLC, and it would still be
It, the only exception I could ever think
beneficial.
of where DLC is better than the main game by a mile, but the main game is also amazing, is Bloodborne. They had
Mm,
Bloodborne, the old hunters, and that's phenomenal. Way better than the original. However, without the original game, there is no DLC. And just like with RE4 remake, man, people complain about what was cut and what wasn't cut. They had thoughts on three, but in all honesty, man, they're different products. You still have the old games to go back to.
mm,
You still have the GameCube game had no Ada separate ways, if I'm not mistaken. It was just straight up. That's it, Resident Evil 4 and then Mercenaries. So separate ways was more or less a PlayStation extra that got included into the Wii and Switch versions later on. Um, so no, I'm totally okay if it's just the base. I It's hard to have a definitive edition
mhm.
because you create a definitive edition and then 5 years later and a new console comes out, you want that. And I feel that pain with Metal Gear. Because we were able to buy that on Xbox and we can't, and now we have to buy it in August. And that once that's on like the Series S and PlayStation 5, well, in 5 more years, maybe the next console won't be backwards compatible. Physical discs are not a viable option. The retro market and resale market is ridiculous. It's run by vultures and absolute a-holes. So if they keep releasing new versions, or if there's money to put into a remake of a favorite game and they do it properly, great. Prime Remastered is fantastic. I don't want to play the original GameCube one anymore, because if you try to find the original GameCube one, it's not easy to find, or people try to charge you too much, and it's just like, no, it's fine. Um, I don't believe in game preservation anymore because we don't we don't have the decency to have that happening.
Yeah.
We don't deserve it. I strongly stand with like anybody who tells me game preservation and is modding and is like, yeah, but it's okay, the game's old. You can justify stealing whatever way you want to, man. But like at the end of the day, you're stealing. Dolphin just got removed from the Steam store, and people are like losing their crap. And it's all these morons that spend like 1,000, 2,000 on their PC rig. They don't have any money to buy games, or if they do, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna this game preparation. I'm just gonna get these ROMs, and just I don't care about this whole industry. I care about new games being made and innovations being happening. And if you feel like they're not happening, well, you can go pay $500 for an unopened copy of Super Mario 64 to sit down and play that. Um, I think having this game without its DLC, I'm fine. Having RE4 without Ada separate ways, I don't care. The main game is the thing, right? And Persona 3 gets a treatment that very few games will ever get, especially RPGs.
Yeah, it
Yes.
looks
This
just
this really
beautiful. It
does
looks
not
nice.
happen that much. I mean, look at like something
Right?
like Live Alive, right? That is a
Yeah.
really cool remake. Um, but I mean, could you imagine like turning it into like a full 3D game or something? It's people are like, well,
Yeah.
how about the original Persona 3 is 3D? Yeah, but not like this.
This this
Not
is
like
just
this. This is like
Yeah,
next
this
level.
is
If you play the original, you're in
way
like a
more
small
zoomed
little
in.
you're in a small little box, okay? Here there is this is like next level. It's
yeah.
gonna be massive.
And I hope it succeeds. It will. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
How could it not?
Yeah, it just
And I really
looks
I
great.
I hate to say it, and this kind of goes back to the Final Fantasy thing, not to take up too much time about this.
No, no, no.
I think they're going I do wish this came out a little bit earlier, or I wish the re-releases. I know COVID and the pandemic must have set them back probably 2 years.
Hmm. Yeah,
This
working from
those re-releases or those multi-platform releases rather, those would have been great like 2 years ago. And then this would have been
Yeah.
good in 2021, 2022, whatever. And then we could have got a Persona 6 in order not to cannibalize the sales and whatnot. No, I feel like because this is coming and I'm happy it's early 2024, we're not going to
Persona
see a
6.
Persona
Yeah.
6 until like 2026 or whatever. Like literally, right? And I I hate to say it, I'm that guy. This looks phenomenal. The first thing I'm thinking is, "Oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
Persona 2 done like this, Persona 1, Persona 4." I know people are like, "Oh, but the
Yeah.
golden and blah blah blah." No, this is a phenomenal base to bring all those games into. Persona 5, they hit the right mark. I think the
Hmm.
Yes.
style and everything. I think that's the way to keep it going. I'm worried that 6, not worried, but what are they going to do with 6? I don't know. Are we going to get something similar to
My theory is
5?
after 3 comes out, they're gonna have like this opportunity to say, hey, listen, Persona 6 gets released 6 months down the road. It feels like they could as early as 6 months. Once the game gets released, I feel like then they can talk about the new one. And it's the
That's a
way
good
we
point.
felt with Dread, because Dread came out of nowhere, and everybody was like, "Oh, what about Metroid Prime 4?" And then all of a sudden, we get Prime Remaster dumped on us, and then it
It's
just makes the wait for Prime 4 much easier. But
mhm.
realistically, they've kept a whole year, 1 year, 1 year. Every year, there's a Metroid game now.
That's a good
Mhm.
point. And to be fair, I just did remember this. Persona 3 and 4, Christian, you think you know better than I do, but it didn't take long for those two to come out. Like there was a
No.
huge gap between th Eternal Punishment and 3 because they literally built the 3 ground up. And I believe
Yes.
Yeah, with one and
3's
both twos, it was short.
2006 or
Yeah, and
2000.
then 2008 for 4.
Okay, so those are okay. So it was a
So that
2 year difference. Really though,
and
it's
then
kind of like the
16
same
for
engine. It's
5
almost
or 16.
yeah, 5. Well, I mean, 5 came out in 15, didn't it, in Japan?
16. They came out in 17 in
Is-
America.
Okay, so okay.
It was originally
Really?
supposed to come out in 2014. Remember that? I think it was like winter or
Oh yeah,
something.
5
The
got
chairs is
ultra
like you are
delayed.
slave,
Yeah.
one emancipation.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in
The chairs
2014 and it just got delayed 2 years. Yeah,
winter.
yeah.
And then it came out September 2016, I believe. And then
So,
February 14th in the West,
mhm.
2017.
But you notice this is interesting. The game's in English. Are we going to get a
Yeah,
simultaneous release?
that's what I'm thinking. They probably have a decent amount of it translated. I know they
That's
only show like early stuff, like I think the first few months, but
That never happens
I don't
because
know. I think
five is like a 7 month gap.
what I like about this though is like, yeah, there's like some similarities with 5, but it doesn't lose. It doesn't seem like it loses the core identity
the
of
charm.
3. And it's just like,
Mhm.
yeah, like just like yeah, some of the interface looks the same, but like seeing like it feels like Persona 3. Like you like looking at it, like, man, this is like if Persona 3 was made like now, like this would be like and 5 didn't exist or whatever. Like this would be amazing. If that makes sense.
It
If
does, absolutely.
it was like made now.
Um, and it's good because the lessons you learn, um, you learn from like some of the newer games, you realize you have something on your hands, and five definitely had this art style, this music, this thing down pat. And now to see that implemented in one of the, I guess, pivotal paradigm shifts of Persona.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were telling me, Tony, about one and two and how drastically different of a games they were. So
Yeah,
one
3
of
changed
them,
the
one
game.
you were saying was like, right? One was like the Etrian Odyssey, Tony was telling me. So this is like the Tokyo Drift of the Persona series. And from here on in, things get better.
Yeah.
And again, Persona 5 is Fast and Furious 5, which is still a fan favorite of all time.
I mean, I still
All
love
the
two though.
same physics.
I'm one of those cranky guys. Ah, number two is the best one. Ah. I mean, two. I one might be a hard sell. I feel like they would have to. I mean, I love the story of one. I love the dual quest system in one. I think
Yeah,
it's
2.
phenomenal. Just how cool it is when you're battling. You have to, but again, it's very outdated, right? You have to move your characters or arrange them in a grid rather before the battle
Mm.
starts, and you can arrange them during the battle too. But you don't get free movement, whereas three got rid of that. Two, well, I mean, two got rid of that
Well,
too, I
2, yeah, they
suppose.
moved around. Yeah,
But I can't. I don't know how they would do it, right? Because the big thing with three, four, and five is the social links, which one and both twos do not have. So would they add those in? Would it just become something different? Or they're probably not going to bother, as much as I hate to say it. But I think it would be good. I think remakes of all of the games in
Yeah,
this style would be phenomenal.
that's it.
yeah.
A- And I mean, what an announcement. So stay tuned for, I guess, by Sunday or Monday to sort of see this trailer. And
Again,
if this is what got leaked, there's got to be something better. My theory is that this is
yeah.
like the small potatoes got leaked. There's got to be something way crazier
Oh, a
that we
longer
don't know of.
trailer. That could be
Well, yeah.
something.
There's this and like the Tactica game, for
Right, right,
Persona 5.
right.
Man, I don't want to talk about it. I'm
But I
upset.
think there'll be one more spin-off after.
I'm
I
upset. I
hope
was
so.
hoping for I wanted a fighting game,
I don't
but
think I mind it because
no, I do. I mind it. I
I
want a fighting
played
game, darn it.
the Mario Rabbids game,
Yeah,
and like I know it's like a certain strategy. Like I haven't really played that many, but like just
yeah.
like the way it looks though, it kind of looks similar to like the Rabbids game where you could just like go behind cover, like go on like a high platform, or just like the way you move around the stage. I don't know, it makes sense, but P3 the remake was definitely
That's the way to go, man. And with that, I think any parting thoughts, gentlemen? I think that pretty much covers everything, right?
It's a great
yeah for the most part.
yeah, it's a great way to get back into the podcasting season. Hopefully I can
Great day one of Summer Games Fest.
yeah,
Can't wait.
it's just
We got like who even knows what else Xbox will show on Sunday. We got Capcom, I think the 12th or Monday.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I was gonna say hopefully I can finish Zelda before all these games come out. Now I got
Resident
another
Evil
game.
9 being revealed.
Oh my gosh, they got to stop this. This is probably a podcast for a different day. This it might
Resident
be
Evil.
one of the best years for games in forever. I mean, if we
Agreed.
had a new Mario game, that's it. This I
If we got a
would
new Mario game,
forget it.
Odyssey 2, it probably
I
won't happen,
even
but
if it's a freaking Thousand Year Door remake, I'm good. I would be stoked.
There's a very strong,
Well,
credible rumor on it.
Galaxy 2
Uh,
remaster, like a Galaxy 2 Deluxe, just I'll take it.
I know a
I'll
guy
take
who
it.
knows a guy.
I know a guy knows a guy who's friends with another guy that said,
Are they here, by
uh,
the way? Are Nintendo here at the Summer Games Fest?
I don't think
no,
so. I don't know if
Okay.
I saw. Yeah, I think I saw like Sega and all of them, and
Okay, but no
but
Nintendo.
no Nintendo. So I
Maybe a
wonder if
direct. soon?
honestly, like maybe to ride the hype, they might come out with it like in a week or maybe next week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's like all these games are being announced. Hey, let's get our foot in the
Yeah, they
door, I
do.
guess, with this and be
Yeah,
like, hey,
it
this
makes
is how
sense.
you reveal games. Come out with freaking Tears of the
I
Kingdom
mean,
DLC already.
that would
New
end it for
Mario
me, man.
game, Donkey Kong,
I'm not gonna be
Tears of the
able to
Kingdom
play anything,
DLC coming out.
guys.
Yeah,
I
it's too much.
can't play anything
Yeah, I don't know
anymore.
how long. I don't know. Maybe it was 2017 or 18, I think, when at the Game Awards when they revealed Breath of the Wild's DLC. It was like, by the way,
I think it was the year after, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
was the year after,
hmm
or at
Took a
least a
while.
year and a half
Because
after.
people complain, they're like,
yeah.
"What's the
After some
DLC?
time.
Where's the DLC?" for like forever. They're complaining about that. So, but I don't think Tears needs it. It's fine the way it
Yeah,
is. Like
man.
that, it does not
Unless
need
they do.
DLC.
Well, I haven't played the DLC for Breath of the Wild yet. Maybe I'll do that. But wasn't it just like story stuff too? Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't need it. I'm full. It's so much.
Too many games, man. There's too many games.
$70.
Yeah,
Too
it's
many
worth
games,
it.
man.
hmm
Crimson
Um,
Loftwing coming back, coexisting with the Zonai stuff.
oh my goodness.
That
And
is
with that
something.
Zonite comment, we're gonna end this wonderful
We're gonna
podcast.
end the we're gonna end the hype. All
We're
right,
gonna end
guys.
it right there. I gotta
End
get
on a
back
hype.
on that, man. Uh, thank you, my esteemed, brilliant, exuberant
My
panel.
colleagues, my colleagues.
Nice colleagues. No, it's only nice colleagues when Nat shows up. Thanks, nice
Oh,
colleagues.
there it is.
Uh,
You
body
started
fade.
it.
Hope you guys
The
enjoyed
big
it. We
stir.
certainly did. Please like and subscribe. We are GPX Japan. And yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in.
Thanks for watching, everyone.